my last video, I talked about my like for the Buck 110 and my collection, both those that I bought that are custom, but also that I customized myself. But you know, I don't just like folding knives. I also like Bowie knives. And if you take a look below, you can see I have a couple. I like American. I have picked up a couple of Pakistani knives, or a few, and then there's some that I've customized myself. Jim Bowie is famous, obviously, for the Bowie knife, and we live here in Texas, so, you know, with the Alamo and the Bowie knife and the history behind it, and just the look of a Bowie knife. There's something bigger and better in Texas is certainly part of the Bowie knife. And I want to share some of my Bowie collection, some of the things that I've done. If you look first at some of these larger Bowie knives, this is probably a 12-inch timber rattler Pakistani knife. This thing is heavy, could probably chop wood with it. I really like the knife, and you know, when I bought them, they were about 15 bucks. The only thing I didn't like was the sheath. Of course, I fixed that. I created my own. You can see this has a floral pattern. If you look over to this other one, I've done it also with a basket weave. And then the one in the center here, you can see just another pattern. I have three. At the time, I had 3 sons. I've since gotten another son, so I'm a little behind, but we'll get some more. You can see also in this collection, the Western Bowie knife. This was the one, I believe they still make these, but this one was from the 70s. It was my father's, and I cleaned it up a little bit, and I really like anything American and knife put together, really nice. Look right here, you can see some other knives. These are Connecticut Valley Arms. They actually came in a kit. So my dad built these when I was a kid. I was fascinated with them. Didn't realize that someday I'd own them. But I really like the 7-inch blade with the 1.5-inch width. You'll notice that this is a kit, as I said. It was put together with the guard and the pummel. There's a screw there. It was all screwed together. This one hasn't been filed off. I purchased this one on eBay. The blade came from Italy. My father's, you can see where he did sand it off, and the blade was from Spain, but both of the Connecticut Valley Arms. I like the length and size of the blade so much that I commissioned someone on eBay in Pakistan to make me a ton of these Damascus Bowie knives, just the blade. And then I kind of got a little bit into making handles and such. I actually made these guards, filed down, or sanded down rather, the pummels, and these handles are made out of stacked leather. And that one is burgundy. Let me put that down for a minute. This one is green. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but the reason it's green is my son, I promised him a zombie Bowie knife when he became an Eagle Scout. He was part of the zombie patrol, and you can see there with the 245 was his troop number and the biohazard sign. This was presented to him at his Eagle Court of Honor. I promised anyone in my troop that got their Eagle Scout, I would make them one of these. So I've got a couple that I need to make, and plan to do a video on that later. But you can see the matching sheath and the green there for that zombie patrol. I don't know if the video can pick it up as well, but this has been buffed, highly sheened. The black, I just really love the feel. There's kind of a grip there. It's a little cushiony, but just is a good feeling. And of course I made a matching sheath to go with that Bowie knife. And so you can see 3 of them right there. If you pan it over to the other side, you can see another black one that I did. I did this one with some wood, burled wood. It's one of my first efforts, so it's not as finished as I would have liked it to have been. I'm pretty proud of this one here. You can see that it's the stacked leather, as I mentioned, and there's different colors because there's different weights of leather. If you've worked with leather, it comes, there's the shoulders and the belly, and the thickness and the weight are all different depending on where it came from on the cow. And so I've stacked those leather pieces into a pattern, and you can see kind of an AB pattern, except in the center it's a little thicker. It does need to be cleaned up, but it's one of my favorite knives that I've done. So again, made a bunch of Bowie knives, given some away, sold a few. As I mentioned, I commissioned someone to build me a ton of these, and you can see I have a stack over here, just waiting to be done. And these are all pieces that have been glued in. I'm going to set this down here. You can kind of see where I started with the Bowie knife that I purchased. I had someone, friend of mine, weld on a screw. This is tacked and it can be screwed on there. And these pieces of leather are actually stacked on. I'm going to set that down, see if I can find one. It's not glued. This one's not glued, so we can unscrew that pommel. And you can see where I've cut all those pieces and punched a hole through them, stacked them on. These all need to be glued, of course, and then sanded. And again, I would like to do a video showing you how this is done. And if you're interested, again, in any of my work, you can see that I have quite a few blanks left. So maybe there's someone out there that would like a custom Bowie knife. And just like or subscribe, send me a note at the bottom, and perhaps you might own one of these custom knives. Again, Rushton Works, hope you enjoyed my brief video on my Bowie knife collection, and be looking for that video where I'll actually build a zombie Bowie knife for my nephew who recently received his Eagle Scout. Thank you, have a great day.